I had been invited for is about the general situation of the property laws in Bombay. So the canvas is little bigger. Now, to understand how the law operates as far as the property part is concerned, one has to understand that we can divide the entire property scenario of the urban area into two classifications. One at the macro level. There are statutes for that, and the other is micro level. So if we see the urban property laws, is it visible to you all?
Yes.
You can see it. Because I am limiting myself to urban areas, because there is a different set of property laws operating in the rural area. So at the moment, we are not concerned with that. We are concerned with urban areas, and more so to Mumbai, because in urban areas also there are properties which are in district levels. There are certain things which rules change. So when we concern ourselves to the urban area property laws, when I say that this can be divided into two parts, one at the macro level and the other at micro level. When I say macro and micro, here it means when the government does a larger planning. And when we talk about the micro thing, then we will come down to individuals having the property rights. Because an individual cannot have the property rights unless the government has planned something for the urban area. That's why macro is very important to understand and come to micro level. Now, in the macro level, what had transpired is immediately after independence, the city of Mumbai, being the industrial hub at that time, attracted a lot of migration from various parts of the country. People started coming in, there was an influx of people, and it was found that the city lacked the infrastructure, the housing to accommodate so many people. Overall, this similar situation was found at Maharashtra level also. So therefore, in 60s, when this change was happening, there's an important landmark statute which was introduced, which most of you must have heard of. That is called MRTP Act. MRTP Act 1966. This was the parent statute, which still continues to be there. It's still operative. This is stands for Maharashtra Regional Town Planning Act. So when you are planning about the entire region, you're planning about the town. That's why it is macro. Hmm? When we will plan about an individual's flat, then it will come under micro. Hmm? As a lawyer, you have to know the entire property scenario, because you can't pick and choose that I don't know about that. So sometimes you may be more concerned, your influx of the client will be more on micro level. But then, as a good lawyer, without knowing the macro level, you cannot defend your client properly in the court of law. Isn't it? Now, MRTP has planned how to develop the areas into urban townships and all. So they had, as per this statutes, they have demarcated regions for the development. So now you will find, if you read this statute, you'll find from section 13 onwards the regional planning. The regions are demarcated, then the regions are to be planned. So regional planning was the idea of MRTP. But that doesn't limit over there. If you go further, there are area development identified also. Then there were town planning schemes. Section 113 onwards, you will find town planning schemes. Why it is important to understand? Because even if at the micro level, if a person wants to purchase a flat in a building, that building can be constructed on a piece of land which is demarcated under MRTP for that construction. Therefore, even if you are representing a flat purchaser, you cannot avoid understanding this. Now, if you have ever come across DC regulations, have you heard of it?
Yes, sir.
Now, where do you get that DC regulations? Huh?
Government,
I'm s-
government regulation.
that government regulations have to have some statutory backing. Have you ever thought of it? That where these regulations come from? Who are making these regulations? Because regulation is not a statute. Under section 40 of the MRTP, you get the bearing point of the DC regulations. And periodically, these DC regulations have been brought. Now, the current DC regulations are, which are going on up to 2034. Now, what does this indicate? To give you an analogy, to understand it in the right perspective, like the government of India presents a budget every year. And what does the budget mean? It's just a proposal by the government that in the coming financial year, they want the money to be spent in these areas. So are BC regulations. In the coming areas, this is what we want our town to look like and to grow like. A planning. These DC regulations, that's why I said MRTP is a parent act. You can't escape this. From 1966, it's still going on. Though there are several amendments time to time. Now, under MRTP, as I said, the regions are identified, areas for development are identified, town planning schemes are there. So you may have come across certain institutions. Now, if we, for the time being, pause over here and go to the micro level, most of the property people come across a statute called Mumbai Municipal Corporation Act of 1888, which was earlier Bombay Municipal Corporation. So we still continue to call it BMC. And now it's MMC. And the statute goes back to 1888. Isn't it? Now, at the macro level, one person for his property primarily deals with BMC as a governmental body. And who else from your side? Another very important statute is Cooperative Society, 1960. If you added Maharashtra over here, Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act of 1960. Because more or less, most of the individual residents, flat owners are under cooperative societies. But that's, for your knowledge, that's not the only way. Because to form a cooperative society, there's a qualification which you have to have. Can you tell me what is the qualification?
Minimum 10 members.
Minimum 10 members. Very good. What's your good name? Amil? Anil? Clap for Anil. Encourage him. See, I'll tell you a Guru Mantra here. If you want to hesitate abusing somebody. If you want to encourage and applaud, why to hesitate? If he has given something good to you, 10 members minimum qualification to have a cooperative society. There are so many buildings where there are not even 10 flats. Then you can't have a cooperative society. What to do? So that means that is not the only way, though the most popular way in Mumbai to have a flat and to have a share certificate that denotes your membership. And just for your knowledge, as a lawyer and as an individual owner of a flat, you are not. When you have that piece of paper in a shape of share certificate, you're simply a member of the society, not the owner of the property. Who's the owner of the property? The society. The conveyance happens from the erstwhile landowner to the society. It doesn't happen to your individual name. You just get a share certificate. तो फ्लैट है आपका 5 करोड़ का और शेयर सर्टिफिकेट है 50 रुपए का या मैक्सिमम 500 रुपए का. 10 रुपए पर शेयर के 5 शेयर लिए तो 50 रुपए. सो बेसिकली अब सर You are an owner of a piece of paper worth 50 रुपए, isn't it? और घमंड ऐसा कि 5 करोड़ का मैं ओनर हूं. कहां का घमंड? कुछ नहीं. यू आर नॉट द ओनर. द ओनर इज द कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी. और अगर 10 मेंबर नहीं हैं तो आप सोसाइटी फॉर्म कर नहीं सकते.
10 नंबर नहीं है
तो सोसाइटी फॉर्म कर नहीं सकते. मिनिमम 10 तो चाहिए ना फ्लैट. तो ऐसी बहुत सी हिकअप्स अभी हमारी जर्नी में आएंगी और अभी हम इन कंफ्यूजन्स को दूर करेंगे. कमिंग बैक टू मैक्रो लेवल, व्हेन द रीजनल प्लानिंग स्टैट्यूट हैड कम, तो लार्जर लेवल पर प्लानिंग शुरू हुई. तो सबसे पहले एक और स्टैट्यूट लाया गया जिसका नाम भी आपने सुना होगा, MMRDA. ये सुना? क्या है ये MMRDA?
डेवलपिंग अथॉरिटी.
हाँ, वो तो नाम ही बता रहा है क्या? इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. ओके. लाइक ब्रिजेस एंड मेट्रोस. ये तो सब जगह छापा हुआ है उन्होंने, हर पिलर पे मेट्रो के MMRDA. ये MMRDA का बुक पढ़ा कभी स्टैट्यूट की? नहीं, सिर्फ वो पिलर पे ही देखा है. They do much more than those pillar insignia. मतलब सिर्फ वो छापा नहीं लगाते MMRDA का, और भी बहुत कुछ करते हैं.
The DCR comes to them, right?
I'm sorry?
The DCPR comes via MMRD.
No, but they are under MRTP. MMRDA is one of the bodies
One of them.
floated under MRTP. And what does it stands for?
Mumbai Metropolitan Regional Development.
Come on, good. What's your name?
Shabir.
हाँ?
Shabir.
अरे भाई क्या कमाल है यार, हर बार बोलूंगा क्या मैं? अच्छी बात करते रुकना मत. हो सकता है मुझे रोकना पड़े. रहे गलत बोल रहे, मत बजाओ. जब तक तो है तब तक बजाओ. शब्बीर ने बिल्कुल सही कहा. ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. रीजनल. डिडंट आई टेल यू? MRTP, Maharashtra Regional Town Planning, isn't it? Regions are identified into MRTP, and for the development of that region, MMRDAs are born. Shabir, am I making sense? Yeah. तो ये M क्या है? महाराष्ट्र. और ये M क्या है ना अंदर में? MRTP टॉक्स ऑफ महाराष्ट्र. उसमें एक रीजन इज मुंबई मेट्रोपॉलिटन रीजन.
So similarly, other cities may have, like Pune may have a different
अनिल ना?
development authority.
हाँ बिल्कुल. गुड.
Sidco, Navi Mumbai.
हाँ.
That also is a part of MRTP.
You can't escape. This is the Parent Act. That's what I said. You can't escape. जितने डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटीज बन रहे हैं, ये आपको मैं सिर्फ मुंबई का बता रहा हूं. मुंबई मेट्रोपॉलिटन. दैट इज द रीजन I began with Maharashtra. Then I found a common denominator, regional. And then I brought M. This is a different M than this M. ठीक है? Like Anil said कि ये तो मुंबई की कहानी होगी. But ये लार्जर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बन रहा है MMRDA में. आपका क्या नाम बेटा? हाँ, Tanu, you, huh? Tanuf, you said that MMRDA are more responsible for infrastructure development. यानी ब्रिजेस बना रहे हैं, रोड्स बना रहे हैं, ये मेट्रो बना रहे हैं, पर घर तो डेफिनेटली नहीं बना रहे. तनुफ, एम आई राइट? तो जब आप समझेंगे ना कि ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कर क्या रहा है, तो आपको प्रोसेस ऑफ एलिमिनेशन भी समझना है कि क्या नहीं कर रहा है. एंड दैट इज व्हाई इट इज मैक्रो. ये घर नहीं बना रहा है. तो जब हम MRTP लाए तो मैंने आपको बताया कि स्वतंत्रता के बाद बॉम्बे में जो पब्लिक का इन्फ्लक्स शुरू हुआ, प्राइमरी आइडिया क्या था कि हाउसिंग शॉर्टेज था. पर अभी तक ये कुछ हाउसिंग का इंतजाम कर रहे हैं क्या? ये नहीं कर रहे. ये तो सड़कें बना रहे हैं, पुल बना रहे हैं. पुल के नीचे थोड़ी रुकना है, रहने की जगह चाहिए ना. So another organization took birth, which is called MHADA. Have you heard of this?
Yes, sir.
MHADA makes, Tanuf, क्या बनाता है MHADA? हाउसेस. आए ना हम लोग, ब्रिज बन गए, मेट्रो बन गई, सड़क बन गई, अब हमको घर चाहिए. So MHADA is born again under the Parent Act of. ये जब MHADA बना, and if you see, it is backed by a statute. MHADA is a statutory body. I hope you understand the statute, the difference between regulations and statute. Any confusion about that? Then let me clear that here only. Otherwise, I'll move forward. Then you will.
So please.
The difference between statute.
Please,
देखिए, स्टैट्यूट वो होता है जो लेजिस्लेशन से पास होता है. Whether if it's a central statute, that means it is passed by the Parliament of India. If it's a state statute, that means it's passed in the Legislative Assembly of the state of Maharashtra. लेकिन सारे कानून स्टैट्यूट नहीं होते. जैसे महाराष्ट्र कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी एक्ट ऑफ 1960 इज अ स्टैट्यूट, पर आपके हर सोसाइटी में बायलॉज होते हैं. दोस बायलॉज आर नॉट स्टैट्यूट. वो हाउस ने पास नहीं किए. हाउस ने कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी एक्ट पास कर दिया. ठीक है. ऐसे ही जो मैंने बताया डीसी regulations are made under MRTP, and time and again they are made. This stands with amendments from 1966, but DC regulations तो आते ही जाते हैं. 1991 से आ रहे हैं, और अभी जो करंट है वो 2034 तक चलने वाला है. Am I making myself clear? If you have any doubt, please don't hesitate. Test me and don't allow me to move forward without you getting satisfied.
So DCPR is every 10 years or 20 years?
Depends on them.
The current one, DCPR 2034,
Right?
is that from 14 to 34?
16, I think. 16 to 34.
20 years.
Less than that, 18 years.
I suppose
Less
that's planning which goes 20 years long.
No. There's no such set norms. It depends on the planning authority.
Okay.
उनको लगा हम अगले 10 साल का टारगेट हमको ये चाहिए, वैसा ले आए। और ये बदलते क्यों हैं, ये भी तो क्वेश्चन होना चाहिए। ये जो पहला डीसी रेगुलेशंस आया फिर उसके बाद उसको बदला क्यों? 1991 में आ गया, आपने उसके हिसाब से प्लानिंग शुरू कर दी, तो बदला क्यों? Things change. The topography of the land changes, the migration changes, the people, the city grows. आपके अगर आप हिस्ट्री पढ़ें मुंबई की, तो द ओरिजिनल मुंबई वॉज अप टू गिरगांव. बियॉन्ड गिरगांव देयर वाज नो मुंबई. अगर आप एक सिनेमा आया था मराठी का, I'm forgetting some factory. No, Harishchandrachi factory. Harishchandrachi factory. That was Dada Saheb Phalke when he made the first film, Raja Harishchandra. In that film, I saw that along with his crew, he is going to shoot the film at Dadar. राजा हरिश्चंद्र के ऊपर उनको जंगल, नदी, पहाड़ सब चाहिए थे, तो कहां शूटिंग करने गए? दादर. और अगर आपको कभी मौका मिले वो सिनेमा देखने का तो देखिएगा, वो जब अपने क्रू को लेके प्लानिंग करके दादर जाना चाह रहे हैं, तो मोहल्ले पड़ोस के सब लोग आके छाती पीट पीट के रो रहे हैं, और उनके अब कब मुलाकात होगी, होगी भी कि नहीं होगी, दादर जा रहे हैं, पता नहीं लौटेंगे कि नहीं, इनको शेर खा जाएगा वहां जंगल. दादर वो हाँ, तो ये मुंबई था, ये हमको मिल रहा है ना, इतिहास मिल रहा है. दैट वाज ओनली अप टू गिरगांव. उसके बाद तो सब जंगल था. वहां कौन है, दादर जा रहे हैं. कई लोग कह रहे हैं कि उसी फिल्म में कह रहे यहीं कर लेते, इसके पीछे कर लेते, चौल के पीछे, कहां वहां जा रहे हो. तो वो कह रहे भाई नहीं, मेरे सिनेमा के लिए मुझे वैसे लोकेशन चाहिए. तो सब ने उनको प्रणाम कर लिया कि भैया पता नहीं अब मुलाकात होगी कि नहीं होगी, अजीब दीवाना है ये, दादर जा रहा है.